Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's very good to see you. Now, lots has happened today. Leading the headline pack, the opposition in India has hit the streets against the government over what they call vote chori by the Election Commission and the government. It's an ongoing story. But for the next 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a look at an issue that haunts our streets every day and every night. Street dogs. Today, ladies and gentlemen, there were no half-hearted namby-pamby orders from the Supreme Court. It struck right at the heart of the menace and asked the Delhi government to start putting all stray dogs in shelters. When I say all, I mean all. 10 lakh dogs in New Delhi and the rest in the NCR region. So this order is not just for Delhi, it's for the entire NCR. Now, the Supreme Court has asked for the roundup of all strays from all public places and has said that the government has 8 weeks to put 5,000 strays in shelters and then start creating shelters for the rest. The court has also very categorically said that the dogs sent away to shelters and sterilized there will not be released on the streets anytime. The court is also very clearly saying they will not be up for adoption. Ladies and gentlemen, India's animal birth control rules that are meant to keep the dog population in check actually mandate, if you read the rules, they mandate that rabbit strays are released in their home localities after being sterilized. The Supreme Court has called these rules absurd and asked authorities to forget about them, at least for the moment. They are saying, go do your job, don't tell us what the rules are. Forget about them for the moment. The top court didn't stop there. It has issued a stern warning to anyone who comes in the way of strays being picked up by local authorities, saying they will have to face legal action. Now, the Delhi government is more than happy to oblige with the Supreme Court order, given that 65,000 dog bites have been reported in the city in the last 7 months alone. The Chief Minister says they are fed up with strays. But ladies and gentlemen, there is a practical problem. There are 10 lakh strays in Delhi alone and hardly any shelters. How will the Supreme Court order be implemented?
देखिए, ये बात सच है. दिल्ली की जनता वर्षों से इस विषय पे परेशान है और सरकार, पिछली सरकारों ने जो किया और नगर निगम में जिस तरीके से काम चल रहा था, हम उन सब के ऊपर लगातार हमारी सरकार बनने के बाद से इन विषयों पे चर्चा करते हुए इसके समाधानों पे वर्कआउट कर ही रहे थे. इसमें माननीय कोर्ट ने जो आदेश दिया है वो भी हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. हमारा एक ही ध्येय है, दिल्ली की जनता को राहत देना.
Okay, how will you come up with so many shelters? Where will the money come from? These are just some of the concerns that are being raised by animal rights organizations like PETA. They call the order cruel. They say it's unscientific. They say it's a waste of time. And they also say it is against the law. They say, and I quote, forced removal of some 10 lakh community dogs from Delhi streets will cause uproar in communities that care deeply for them and chaos and suffering for the dogs on a large scale. This is what they think. This is not what necessarily citizens think. Ladies and gentlemen, the debate can go on. But the situation, as the Supreme Court has said today, is grim across India. India's stray population is over 6 crores. Let me repeat that. India's stray population is over 6 crores. Last year itself, there were some 37 lakh dog bites. 54 people, mostly children, died of rabies. The situation has reached a point where a state like Kerala has allowed euthanasia for deceased dogs. An angry Supreme Court today asked dog lovers who refuse to see the problem if they can bring back people who have died because of rabies. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about human rights over animal rights. This isn't about dog lovers against the rest. This is about public health. This is about a citizen's right to walk freely on the streets without getting stalked and attacked by a pack of dogs that lurk around every corner. So the question this evening is the Supreme Court order cruel or well considered? And should it extend, and should the Supreme Court actually extend its Delhi order to the rest of the country as well? Ambika Shukla is a citizen activist joining us on the broadcast, a trustee People for Animals. Ambika ji, thank you very much for your time. Sonali Chopra is an advocate at the Delhi High Court, also an animal rights activist joining us on the broadcast. Thank you very much. Satya Muley is a senior lawyer joining us on the broadcast, and Rahul Ishwar is an activist. He's a citizen voice joining us from Kerala, from where we have seen many dog bites and dog attacks being reported. It's a state that actually wanted to cull stray dogs. They went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said no. But now Kerala has decided that euthanizing at least diseased dogs is not a bad idea. Let me go across to Ambika Shukla first. Ambika Shukla, what will you do next? What will citizens like you, dog lovers like you, animal activists like you do next? Here's where we stand. The Supreme Court has said anyone who comes in the way of public officials picking up dogs from outside parks, outside colonies, etc., there will be legal action against them. The Supreme Court is also saying we don't want to hear animal lovers and animal activists. We only want to hear from the government. They are also saying that dogs that are picked up and taken to shelters and sterilized cannot be released back in their localities, and they will not be up for adoption. What do you do? Is it the end of the road? Is it time for people like you to actually help authorities somehow try and at least give the solution that has been offered a test ride?
This is not a solution, ma'am. It is not a solution. Killing dogs, which is exactly what is being done. By confining them in close confinement, you create situations where they will fight and kill each other. You have no shelters, you have no land, you have not put out any SOPs, you have not put out any safeguards. If the Supreme Court had made a considered decision, taking ground facts into reality, taking science into reality, that would be a different thing. But this is a completely arbitrary overnight order without any plans in place. Okay. At present, the municipality has no shelter at all. It neither has any plans for making the same, nor the lands, nor the funds. One dog to maintain in a shelter properly costs rupees 2,500 per month per dog. Multiply this with the so-called figures of 10 lakh dogs, you will be spending rupees 250 crores per month, and this is a recurring cost. Contrast this to a finite cost of just 1,000 per dog one time. Okay, that is the ABC program. And that is the ABC program which is working well, which has brought down the rabies cases from 20,000 to just 54. When you're talking 54, please see it in perspective. In a country of 1.5 billion, in a country where traffic deaths, not accidents, traffic deaths are 10 lakhs per year. Rabies cases are just 54. In a country where every 1 minute there is a traffic accident, every 3.5 minutes one person dies in a traffic accident. That is the same country where you are looking at just 54 cases, and even those are on the way down. Delhi this year has recorded only 1 case in January.
Okay.
So we are looking at almost a rabies-free country as a result of the sterilization and vaccination program.
Okay.
As far as bite figures concerned, please understand, these are miscounted. They are 5 times exaggerated because as per an AIMS RTI response, 1 vial is counted as 1 bite, when actually 5 vials are used per bite. So you divide whatever figures being bandied about, and even those are not correct figures because they include monkey bites.
No, Ambika ji, I'm sorry, there seems to be a problem with the audio. Can we just take a couple of minutes and fix Ambika ji's audio, please? Okay, I believe your chunni is on your mic, which is what is obstructing the voice. Could you just fix that, please, Ambika ji, and then we can continue.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here we are. All right. So I'm saying, as far as your bite figures are concerned, please understand that these are 5 times exaggerated because, as per an RTI response from AIM, 1 vial is counted as 1 bite, whereas it is actually 5 vials per bite. So your figures are 5 times more.
Okay.
Plus monkey bites, rodent bites are included in the same figures.
Okay.
Plus the prophylactic vaccinations taken by the entire animal welfare world. These are also mistakenly counted as bites. So your bite figures are wrong.
Okay.
Your shelters do not exist. The cost of maintaining these shelters is 2,500 per dog.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying the plan is not feasible. The plan is not feasible because even if you look at the economics of it, there is around 250 crore rupees that is required every month for just dogs in Delhi. Where will this money come from? Sonali Chopra, one of the things that the Supreme Court also quoted is the ABC rules that Ambika ji is talking about. The fact is the Supreme Court said these rules are absurd. They are asking authorities to forget about them. What do you say to that? I mean, you can't say that the Supreme Court doesn't understand the law. The Supreme Court understands the law.
Unfortunately, in this situation, I think the law has been picked up and thrown out of the window. And it's a very sad day for everybody in this nation. You cannot override an existing law without first declaring it unconstitutional. Or ultra vires, or throwing it out of the window officially by an order which was not done. A new law has been set out, not even a law, a random set of unthoughtful, no planning directions have been given, in complete contravention of the law as it stands today, something which came out as recently as in 2023. It's not even a set of archaic laws that we are looking at. They were revised in 2023.
No, but Sonali, the laws were questioned even then. Hai na? Now, what sort of law says that there can be a rabid dog, but if you go and sterilize that rabid dog can be left back in the locality? And laws have to work for the people of this citizen, na, Sonali. If a law stops working for the people of this country, then the law needs to go. And the Supreme Court, that is exactly what the Supreme Court is saying, forget the law.
Supreme Court has not, first the law has not gone. The Supreme Court has not set aside or declared the ABC ultra vires or unconstitutional. The law stands today. Irrespective of this set of this directions that have been passed, ABC continues to hold ground even as we speak right now. And as far as the whole rabid dog needs to be sterilized and left back, it is not correct. That is not what our ABC rules say. A rabid dog there is a complete procedure prescribed in the ABC rules for any suspected case of rabies. So it is incorrect to say that just sterilization or just immunization is what the ABC rules talks about. They are detailed rules if we ever sit down and read them. It talks about everything that can possibly go wrong or go right.
So, what is your argument here? Your argument here is that the Supreme Court has not set aside the law. Therefore, what the Supreme Court has done is essentially illegal. Simple, mota, Sonali, that is what you're saying?
Absolutely correct. This order is bad in law. And there are steps being taken, I'm guessing, by everybody to put it all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you give me exactly 5 minutes? I beg for your patience. I do need to cut across live to Mansukh Mandavia, who is speaking at Amazing Indians. Let me go back to our discussion this evening. It's a big order by the Supreme Court, and it is one that is being debated. To my guests, thank you very much for your patience. Satya Muley, would you want to respond to some of the criticism that is coming in? Forget about the fact that activists are saying this is unscientific, it will never work, etc., etc. We'll come to that in just a bit. What the lawyer on this panel is saying is that what the Supreme Court has done today essentially is bad in law. They cannot do it. There are rules that govern dog populations in this country and animal populations in this country. And what you are doing, what the Supreme Court is asking the Delhi government to do, is contrary to the law.
Well, I'd like to inform to the learned colleague that the animal birth control rules of 2023 are under challenge. I myself have filed this challenge in Bombay High Court as per the directions of Supreme Court. This particular animal birth control rules take care only one-sidedly about the stray dogs. They encroach upon the rights of housing complexes, including private companies, And in fact, I'd like to go one step ahead. That learned Ambika ji also shared some numbers. She only mentioned about the stray dogs and so on and so forth. She has to also show similar amount of compassion towards human beings. So what happens is, it needs to be definitely dealt with. This country, this nation needs to come at par with other developed nations if it is talking about becoming Vishwaguru. We cannot become Vishwaguru with having stray dogs moving around. We cannot compare ourselves with US, European countries and so on and so forth. These particular stray dogs, nobody is against them. Nobody is wanting to be cruel against this. This entire concept of dog lovers is faulty. Once we say that dog lovers, it automatically makes the other side as dog haters. No, there are no dog haters in this country. All the humans in this country are the most compassionate humans existing on this planet Earth, who are showing the best compassion towards all the types of animals in this planet Earth. Now, having said this, we can definitely call them as caregivers, as well as people who are pet owners and so on and so forth. Nobody is hating this particular animals, but animal birth control rules definitely have certain provisions which are ultra virus to the Constitution of India. They are under challenge, and over a period of time, definitely certain provisions are going to be struck down.
Okay, Ambika Shukla, I just hope your audio is better now. Are you refusing to see what many citizens, most citizens in this country are seeing, feeling every day? The fact that you cannot step out of your housing society without being stalked by a pack of 6 to 8 dogs. That you cannot let your children go out of the society on their own because there is some chance that they will be mauled / bitten. You know, the fact is that, again, Ambika ji, I'm no dog lover, but I'm no dog hater. I don't want stray dogs to be culled. But to me, what the Supreme Court has said today is a humane solution. Don't cull them. The Supreme Court in any case has said that culling of dogs is not permissible. But just put them in shelters, put them away in shelter homes, but not a single one on the streets, so that citizens feel safe.
Yeah. Let me speak. Have you ever visited a shelter? Do you know the reality of what a shelter? Have you visited an orphanage, a state-owned orphanage? When you say that we do not intend cruelty, what you are intending is cruelty. Shelters operate like jails for healthy animals. When you put unknown dogs together in a group, they will fight and kill each other. It's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to manage. You need acres and acres of land to create an actually healthy, happy shelter, which is not possible. So you have shelters in close confinement, dogs kept, which turned into hotbeds of infection, parvo, distemper, communicable diseases, fighting, underfeeding. There is no proper management. There cannot be any proper management of those numbers. We cannot run orphanages for humans properly. Where will we be able to run shelters for animals? One. Secondly, look at the cases in perspective. Like I told you about the traffic rules. India has only 11% of all vehicles, yet we have the highest number of traffic deaths in the world. Are we impounding all cars? Are we putting away jailing all drivers? We also have among the highest cases of rape in the world. Are we imprisoning all men? So you have to look at solutions that are sensible and balanced. You cannot look at one-sided solutions as jail all dogs. No, these dogs are healthy community. Look at the services they provide. In any community, the first line of control against crime is neighborhood dogs. Here, if you remove dogs, you will find an increase in crime. Who keeps our monkeys away? Dogs. Who keeps our rodents in check? Dogs. Who fights on our forces on our fronts? Dogs. Who guides the blind? Dogs. Who keeps our homes safe? Dogs. We use dogs in every public facility, airports, hotels, everything to keep ourselves safe. The ABC is not an animal welfare program. It is a human welfare program. We are putting dogs through a major surgery in order to keep humans safe. So please do not say nothing is being done. Dogs are being operated and vaccinated for the safety of humans. Once the dog is Ambika ji, if things were being done at the pace they are required to be done, the Supreme Court wouldn't have intervened the way it did. It is also responding to public concerns. We
right?
Point out one thing, please.
Okay, go ahead. Let Rahul Ishwar come in.
Ambika
ji, let Rahul Ishwar come in. I'll come back to you. Rahul, go ahead.
Let me point out, let me humbly put 3 points. One, with nearly 3.72 million reported dog bites case in 2024 and with an increase of nearly 70%, it's a major public health concern. See, why don't we see the seriousness of numbers? And let me point out the number of deaths that has been reported by our ministries. For example, in a written reply in Lok Sabha, Ministry of State for Fisheries and Animal Husbandry, SP Singh Baghel said nearly 54 suspected human rabies deaths, which were later confirmed linked to dog bites. Let us look at the human situation here. Nobody is having any kind of a dog phobia. But having said that, when children were killed, when poor people were attacked, there is a serious issue.
Rahul Ishwar, I have dog phobia. If I'm stepping out at night, outside my colony, if I step out of my colony gates, and there are 7 dogs, 8 dogs, who are right there, I will not step out. So I do have dog phobia, and so do most citizens I know.
That's the reason why we are telling we need a balanced, respectable,
Satya Muley.
Nobody is against dogs. At the same point of time, we are against the menace of stray dogs, which is creating human life to become more inconvenient and uncomfortable. We are afraid to go out for a walk because we feel dogs will be there. We are afraid of dogs, biting small children. And I would respectfully ask Ambika Singh and Sonali ma'am, they were asking, have you ever been to such a shelter home? Have you ever been to parents whose children were killed by dogs? Have you ever been to those people who were fatally injured? Look at the human situation and let us not have any shyness in telling we human beings are more important in the scenario of things than dogs. Yes, dogs needs respect like every other animal, but we human beings are more important in the scheme of things, and that cannot be compromised. Human safety cannot be sacrificed at the altar of animal rights. That's a core point that we need to have our mind on. Animal rights, yes, respect it, but human life cannot be compromised.
Okay, Satya Muley, go ahead, then I'll get Sonali.
Yes, Article 51G of Constitution of India has been completely misinterpreted by these animal activists. We need to be compassionate towards the animals, but this doesn't mean we have to sacrifice the rights of humans. Definitely, now that the numbers are being put forth by Ambika ji herself, if 2,500 rupees are being spent behind per stray dog, it definitely spells out that there is a huge industry behind these stray dogs, and there are people who want these stray dogs to be there on the streets. They do not want these stray dogs to go out of the streets. Therefore, this entire show is running for money. This particular nation is saying consistent rise of stray dogs over decades after decades. Rabies vaccinations are not working. People are dying even after taking vaccination or medicines of rabies. There is a huge amount of corruption involved in sterilization as well as vaccination of stray dogs. Therefore, there is a force behind this particular industry who doesn't want the stray dogs to be taken off the street, irrespective of whether humans are suffering or not.
Ambika ji, you wanted to respond very quickly, then I'll go to Sonali. Please go ahead.
He's got it completely backwards. We are against shelters and against spending 2,500 rupees. We are saying put dogs on the street. It costs the nation nothing. It costs 1,000, a finite one-time cost.
But the
Where is
citizens
it you put them in
dogs
shelters?
on the
It's a
streets,
recurring cost of 2,500 per dog per month. So this is
98% citizens don't want those dogs on the streets. And the Supreme Court has to take cognizance of what those 98% people are saying.
Has stopped euthanasia, sorry, what?
I'm saying that 98...
Allow me to complete, ma'am.
Yeah. I was making
the High
a point.
Court of Kerala... Allow me to complete.
Go ahead.
If you allow me to complete my point, the High Court of Kerala has scotched euthanasia. So you had mentioned that in the beginning. So High Court has said no euthanasia. It doesn't work. We've been killing dogs for hundreds of years. It has not worked. The rabies has gone up and so has the number. So it doesn't work. Culling has already been proven wrong and ineffective. Instead, WHO has said that sterilization and vaccination is the only proven way of controlling dog numbers and eliminating rabies. And we are already very close to eliminating rabies. We have brought it down from 20,000 to just 54. Polio was not eradicated in a day, madam. Polio had a scientific program and we went through and consistently, and that's how polio was eradicated. We need to do the same with rabies through education, awareness. If you are afraid of dogs, it's a failure of awareness. We need to show you that how to behave around dogs so you are no longer scared. It is a baseless fear. Dogs are loving and loyal. They are called man's best friend for a reason.
Okay, Amritaji. Sonali, only if... Wait a minute. Everyone can't speak together. Sonali, only if this was a baseless fear. This fear comes from seeing people, especially elderly. And I have at least 3 of them in my colony who go out for morning walks, being bitten by dogs, unprovoked, by the way, unprovoked.
Now, this is where people like me, we were referred to as caregivers, come in. It is people like me who are individuals, not running NGOs, not running ABC centers, who come and help these NGOs and ABC centers by feeding on the spot, befriending dogs, making sure no pacts are made. You have to let us do the work. But no one lets us do the work. Now, I in my colony have started feeding in designated areas which are separate for dogs. So there is no more than 2 or 3 dogs in one specific area. That will happen.
Madam,
it needs
dogs
work.
are scavengers by nature. They are not supposed to be fed by purchased meat.
No, sir, वो दूसरी बात है. वो दूसरी बात है. You know, feeding is also, Sonali, a problem. The feeding is a problem because you say don't feed more than 2 dogs, right? That is what you're saying, that in your colony you're feeding only 2 dogs. And you ensure they are well fed and therefore...
I'm feeding only 2 dogs. I am saying I have following the ABC rules, I have made designated feeding areas at separate places to ensure territorial feeling coming by any dog for a certain specific place, ensuring that the population is well spread over the area. These are things people like me, caregivers like me, can do if we are allowed to do what we are trying to do without constant harassment of people who don't let us do it. I'm like I said, it's not a fight. We have to come together, haters, lovers, caregivers, whatever, to find a solution which is practical and well planned.
Sonali,
what has happened today is not a plan.
Okay, but the fact is it has become a fight. Hai na? The fact is that it has become a fight. Satya Muley, would you want to come in here?
Definitely.
Essentially what Sonali is saying, if you let us do what we are doing, that is feeding dogs in designated areas, the aggression that they show to the community will not happen.
Definitely. This country has been actually feeding animals over decades and centuries. Nobody is stopping humans from feeding animals. So this particular excuse or this particular argument is actually a non-starter. What we definitely want to inform people, if the apex court has so moto taken cognizance of this kind of an issue, it is definitely larger than what it appears to the naked eye. People here, every nook and corner of this country are suffering because of dog bites, suffering because of the dogs chasing. Humans are not able to cycle, children are not able to walk alone. And in fact, what also has been seen is that every dog bite has been tried to be converted into some kind of an accident, and even people who are the victims are further victimized by so-called animal caregivers by accusing that these people are making fake allegations towards the stray dogs. Understand one thing, they have suffered, they have lost their children, they have lost their loved ones. People have lost their limbs, somebody's head has been broken, they have taken vaccination and still they have died. This is the situation. Therefore, the Supreme Court has waken up to this particular issue. We definitely cannot let it go.
Okay, give me a minute here. I do think we should go across live to Kritika, who is joining us from Kartavya Path in Delhi, because this is where animal lovers are staging a protest. Kritika, could you take us through what you are seeing and what you are hearing?
Well, absolutely, Shreya. A number of animal lovers have this evening collected here at Kartavya Path. On your screens, our video journalist is also showing you how a large group, in fact, has collected here. We will just go straight to the organizers also, if they went to understand what has, in fact, made them collect here this evening. Ma'am, today the Supreme Court gave its verdict. You know how they've said that all stray dogs have to be rounded up. They have to be sent to shelters. And even after immunization and vaccinations, they cannot be sent back. How are you seeing this development?
this is absolutely not right, because all these years we've put in our effort, our life in sterilizing them, in vaccinating them, because that was what the law states. ABC 2023 does give us the right to feed them, to vaccinate them, to sterilize them, and then they have to be there in their own territories. You cannot remove them. So that's what our take on this is.
Right. As ma'am said, she talked about the animal birth control rights. However, the Supreme Court has called this law, in fact, absurd in many sense, and has said that returning dogs to these locations will not help in safety.
That is Kritika there, speaking to some of those people who have come to protest the Supreme Court's order. I wonder what they can do at this point of time, because the Supreme Court is very clear. Anyone who comes in the way of the order being implemented will have to face legal action. You know, as we wrap this show, can I just ask you, Satya Muley, if the Supreme Court went too far today?
Well, I definitely will say that it is a very balanced order, because the Supreme Court has been very careful in stating that these particular dogs will be provided due care, they will be sterilized, they will be vaccinated, but at the same time, Supreme Court made it abundantly clear that we are doing this in larger public interest. Therefore, it is doing it with proper planning, and definitely they have also made it clear that this is the first step. No doubt we can expect after 6 weeks more planned steps to be laid out by the Supreme Court, and we can expect a harmonious solution that will take care of this particular issue of stray dogs, as well as of the caregivers, as well as of normal common people.
Okay, when I say it went too far, Sonali, if you want to come in, I don't have too much time on the show left. In 20 seconds, when I say too far, I meant that the Supreme Court is also saying when the stray dogs are sent to shelters, they are sterilized, etc., it's not like they can be up for adoption. You can't adopt them either.
That was the worst part of today's hearing. If there was little hope to this entire plan, maybe putting our indie dogs up for adoption would have been that one little glimpse of hope. But unfortunately, the Supreme Court today went too far.
But Sonali, if people wanted to adopt those dogs would have been adopted in any case, no?
But you think we are not trying? You know how we are doing everything in our powers to have adoptions for indie dogs happening, and they are happening. They are happening. But this is a problem which takes time. Like Ambika ji said, it is not Rome was not built in a day. These rules came in 2023. We are in 2025. And there's the alleged 10 lakh number only in Delhi. Give us time. Give the MCD time, give the ABC centers time, give the caregivers time.
But the dog population in the city and the rest of the country has been growing over the years. How much time do you need is a question that will be asked. The situation is already grim. It is also it's already out of hand, many people will argue. There's something called public sentiment. Sonali, yeah, there are no numbers. You're right, there are no numbers. That's one problem with Delhi. You actually don't have concrete numbers, a concrete census, as it were, of dogs in the city, stray dogs in the city. That again is a problem. But here's the point, Sonali, there is something called public sentiment. Henna, what you are saying, what Ambika ji is saying, you can make all the sense you want to. But what you're saying is against public sentiment because of lived experiences of citizens in this country, and not just in Delhi. Created by.
I try to see myself as a part of the public. My sentiments also count. And this is absolutely not in my public sentiment bit, unfortunately. And secondly, step one would have been a census to find out what is the scale of the problem we are dealing with, the alleged problem.
Okay, we'll leave it.
There is no plan.
Well, there is no plan. That's why the Supreme Court had to step in. You could argue the case that way as well. But we'll leave it there for the moment. This is an unending debate. We can go on all night, and there will be, you know, at least 3 points of views, not 2. So Sonali Chopra, thank you very much. Ambika ji, thank you very much for joining us. Satya Muley, thank you. And Rahul Ishwar, left midway, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Thank you to Kritika as well for joining us with some voices from the ground. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, a break. There's more on the other side.